think I would never start a phrase with that, okay? You're old. Hey guys, welcome to another Monday morning chat, update, whatever you want to call it, with Stephanie Rosella over in Spokane. How you guys doing today, ladies?
Doing good. Finally warming up over here.
Which means it's above zero someplace, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Ooh, we're above freezing even.
Good for you. Yeah. I had the pleasure of going over last weekend to meet with Stephanie and Rosella both, and it was pretty chilly, and it was icy roads, and it was wintertime. And so there you go. That's Spokane for you in the wintertime.
It's still like that in the morning, but it's, it's warming up. It's not the negative
zeros.
That's good. That makes driving a little bit better, doesn't it?
It does indeed.
All right, I know you guys have a particular area that you're going to tour us today and give us some overview of that. Where are we chatting about today?
Spokane Valley.
Oh, yep. Spokane Valley. I used to live at one time in my life kind of in the Spokane Valley. I don't know, kind of in between South Hill and Spokane. So define, first of all, what is Spokane Valley? What geographic area does that encompass?
Spokane Valley is going to sit just to the east of like downtown Spokane, basically. So if you were on I-90, which goes through downtown Spokane, you just take that east towards Idaho and you leave Spokane into the valley, and there you are, Spokane Valley.
So
she's more geographic. She likes the roadway.
So I would say basically from like that Fancher Road exit or like the industrial area that cuts off to the east, almost to probably
Liberty Lake is where it's going to end your cutoff.
Yeah, kind of ish. It's actually technically Sullivan because then you have Liberty Lake, Otis Orchards, and then Green Acres. So the Spokane Valley is going to also run to the north to about Bigelow Gulch Road, and then about south all the way past.
And Bigelow Gulch, if you weren't familiar, is going to be your Mount Spokane area.
Yep. So then you head up into Guillaume Prairie area.
Yep. This is a pretty large area we're talking then, isn't it?
It is. In fact, it actually became its own municipality probably, oh my Lord, almost 10 years ago now.
Okay.
Which is crazy. But at the same time, it's a good thing. Sorry, my dog is like all over my feet right now.
Well, you can share your dog with us if you want. Okay, so let's get some data here that you might have prepared. Tell us about Spokane Valley. What does it look like right now?
So
lots of listings.
Yeah. So for example, we had done Deer Park recently, and that one was in the 20s for listings. Mm-hmm. This one is at 309 for listings. Yeah. So over 300, which is great for our inventory.
And about a third of them are pending, which means if you're shopping in the Spokane Valley area, you actually have a pretty lucrative set of inventory to scan through. Your main area would be basically that 375 to 500,000 price point.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, that almost takes up half of what that inventory available price point is at.
And that 375 to 400 mark where that inventory is starting at is actually right at the average price for homes here. Yep. So I'll kind of give you an idea, like for if you are looking where you're going to be at, so you know like what kind of level of home you're going to be in.
And if you're shopping in that price point, based off of our information that we have, from the list price to the actual sold price, it's about the same. So that means don't have as much negotiation necessarily, but again, you're also in the highest competing point too. But it's also a good indicator you're not going to be overpaying, but that's really not where you're going to be able to get like a good deal necessarily, meaning if you want to negotiate down, good luck.
And not to mention the days on market for these homes are averaging right around that 30-day mark, which 35.
No, they're actually, I would say, averaging closer to about 45.
For the I'm sorry, let's see. The averaging for the sold homes is averaging right around 30 days on market. But that active ones are stretching out more to like 45, I would say.
Yes, and I want to emphasize what that means. So the sold component is once it's under contract to sold, you're still averaging that 30, 35, which is standard, for your process.
I get it. Okay.
Average days on market from active to under contract is sitting a little bit higher. And again, we're coming off of, you know, a really heavy season of holidays plus taxes, all of the things. So I would anticipate to see that to start to shrink up again as we are starting to see interest rates come down. And people are actively, like, it's just in general, the market itself is starting to pick up, which is true to nature for this time of the season. So, and in addition to that, so anything below basically that 375 price point, there's not a ton available. And I have a theory on this as well, because basically 500,000 up to basically a little over $1 million, you see a higher number, especially in that 600,000 price point. There's a lot of what I would call investment properties that are going to be not your single family residence. You're going to see a lot of duplexes, triplexes that are going to be coming on the market in that price point, which is what drives that price up.
Also, with all of our rezoning that they recently did too, you're going to look to see a lot more of those coming up within the next, I think, for that area. I know the Valley's big on duplexes.
Well, yeah, but these are, I mean, you have stuff that's already built, already established. So the lower price point, you would probably see land that might come up for sale, where then they could actually then utilize those permits and zoning changes that she's referring to. So
I don't think you're going to see them at this price point.
Well, they're already established.
I'm saying like the new ones that are going to be hitting work. I guess that's not to do with like our market current day. It's just more of a question for futuristic thinking.
I mean, if you have something that you're purchasing that's already a duplex, that's already on a lot, the zoning ordinances that are out in the Valley, it's pretty high density already. So similar to downtown. If you were able to, you might be able to add 1, maybe 2 more doors in that price point, or convert duplexes, you know, maybe into smaller units. I don't really foresee that happening because honestly, we don't have a huge heavy market for like 1 bedroom, 1 bathrooms in that area. Those would be more desirable downtown. The need in the Valley, it's a very heavy family friendly, you know, area, community where it's like you need multiple bedrooms and bathroom options. There's a lot of infrastructure with schools out there. There's the industrial area. Liberty Lake in and of itself is booming, as well as Otis Orchards and Green Acres, which we'll do another recap on those probably here in the upcoming weeks. But those areas in itself, like we have a new Amazon fulfillment center that's out there. So there's a lot of different job opportunities.
Literally in their own world. If you live in Spokane, and this, like she said, they are their own municipality, and so they are their own city. They don't,
they have their own jurisdiction and everything as well. They have their own different police force. You know, obviously it's still in Spokane County, but it's its own
little community.
All right, so let me summarize with a couple of questions or in statements, I think. So it sounds like you said this is a family-oriented area, so there's schools available, right? And is it true that these are smaller lots than we were talking about in the Deer Park area because of the density?
Actually, yeah, I would say in Spokane Valley, it used to be a lot of agricultural land that has now been subdivided down. So your lot sizes are still going to be probably at minimum that 0.15, but all the way up to 1/4 and 1/3 acre lots. You can still find even 1/2 acre lots out there as well. And we have a couple of different land.
That's going to be your older communities though, and the older homes that are out in the Valley, some of the original ones. Anything that she was referencing earlier, like the duplexes, those things, those are going to be your newer ones that have come with probably in the last 15 years, is when the development really started taking off out there.
But they still
is there much new construction now? Is that what percentage of the sales are that?
It's spreading from, I know the south, if you were to look at it on a map, the Valley from the south has just continued to grow and spread development-wise more towards like Rockford and down in there. So yeah, it's continuing to grow and expand in all areas.
And all the way out to the east, because the Spokane Valley, like I said, that bordering line of like what would be considered Sullivan, that's when it kind of stopped the residential. And I shouldn't say stop, but there's a lot of industrial businesses that went in and around there. But again, then there was a lot of older farm agricultural land that people have just sat on for a long time. And we are now at that point, just in life in general, acquisition has come and it's given opportunity for those divided down. And that's where you're seeing this new construction and development, new schools come in, stuff like that.
Got it. Expanding area, it sounds like.
Yeah. Well, expanding the whole entire area, not just Spokane Valley, but our
Yes.
whole entire area.
But that's been
Yeah.
a really highly area because again, it's so close to Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls. I mean, Spokane Valley.
They have their own mall too, which was, I know when I was a kid, that was like the thing. Spokane Valley had their own big shopping center and mall.
I think that came
So
around the
that
late
was like
90s.
a thing to go to the valley to do. Yeah.
So, and across, like I said, to that border of Idaho, it's like maybe 15, 20-minute drive as well. So that's
All right.
another draw for people.
And do you happen to know what the price changed from last year to this year is? Was there appreciation there, or how much, or do you know?
I mean, we still steadily are seeing a decent rate of, you know,
I don't know that. You mean like if we were to ask this question last year, what the price would be on these homes?
Yep. Yep. What's the
I think
price
it
change
would be
between?
about the same, honestly.
About the same,
Or maybe,
okay.
yeah, it hasn't. It might have come down a tiny bit, honestly.
I don't think it would have
But
come
I bet
down.
it's
I bet you,
the
if anything, it's either the same or gone up even 1 or 2%. And the reason why I say that is because of the actual sold price. Just because people were listing and asking that, they still, we saw in the overview.
Oh, the difference between list price and sold
and what
price
they're
is
actually
about
selling. Almost $150,000 spread from what people were listing to actually what they were selling for.
Yeah.
Oh, so they were selling for that much less? Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes,
Because they were still. Sorry.
No, I say they were still pricing really high from the high that we came off of, and people were still like thinking like,
Okay.
yeah, I can. And it's like realistically, you lost that wagon. Sorry,
When rates came up, the buyers no longer had power, and sellers were still thinking that their value was there just because of the comps. Yes, the value's there, but the buying power wasn't there.
But any financed home that came back with an appraisal, you're still seeing, I would say, that steady increase of at least probably 1 to 3% on increase in value. It's not that massive 12 to 20, even sometimes 30% increase that we did see,
Right.
with anomaly.
Slow down to a little more reasonable number, which is healthy for our market. That's good.
It's very healthy.
Yeah.
So it's a good area to buy. Like I said, you live there. It's one of the first places I moved to when I moved back to the Spokane area. And it's a good place for people to kind of start, it's a good centrally located. There's so many different amenities that are around there that it makes it a really easy place to kind of plant yourself and get established. And then
they have a lot of parks out there too. That was one thing. They have the walkways and the parks out there on the river still as well.
Lots of bus routes, really close to the community colleges. Gets you out of downtown, which is what that draw is. It's not up on the South Hill. So again, if you're not used to any sort of winter driving,
so you don't have to worry about crazy commuting.
All right. Well, thanks for the overview today, ladies.
Yes,
absolutely.
As always, we appreciate it. And guys, if you want to get a hold of Stephanie or Rosella, their contact information will be on the screen. Give them a call, send them an email, call me if you have any loans, and we'll put you together with them. Whatever questions you have, I'm sure we can answer between the three of us. Appreciate it, ladies. Good to talk to you as always.
Thanks, you as well.
All right. Happy Monday to you.
Thanks, you too.
No, it had nothing to do with her, honestly.